is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down, handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Buried, sacked by Lord. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
And this is Talkin Cowboys for a fabulous Friday here at the Star in Frisco. Although inside these walls here at the Star in Frisco, it's actually Thursday because the Cowboys play on Monday night this week against the New York Giants. And unlike past Thursdays this season for your Dallas Cowboys, Jason Garrett has elected to take the boys outside for practice today. It's a beautiful day for a football practice. A little chilly out there, but if you got the pads on, they may not have the pads on, but if you're out there playing football, then it's a perfect day for football. Wouldn't you say, Mickey Spagnola?
They have the shells on, and yes, the sun is shining brightly.
It is. It's very nice. Everyone survived Halloween night last night in the Metroplex and around the world, and now we focus on the New York Giants and get down to business. Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, how y'all doing on this fabulous Friday?
Doing well.
Good. The media asked him about Jason Garrett about practicing outside for a second straight day, and Jason's from the East Coast. He said, "What's y'all's problem? It's a beautiful day. The sun's out. You can't get any better than this. A little less chilly today than it was on Thursday.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood." Which reminds me right off the top, my grandson Ezra, 3 years old, I got a text yesterday from my daughter. He pointed at something that he saw, a little book. It was Mr. Rogers on it.
No.
And he said, "That's your daddy, right?" So welcome to Mr. Rogers' neighborhood here.
Absolutely.
Brian, do I resemble Mr. Rogers?
Fred Rogers and you are not that similar. No.
I don't know.
Maybe a little.
Yeah, maybe a little.
Maybe a little.
And by the way, one other thing. Trick-or-treaters, okay? My wife, I wasn't home last night. My wife said we had no trick-or-treaters last night. One of my daughters calls and says, "Where are the trick-or-treaters?" There were no trick-or-treaters at her house either. And then my middle daughter, she calls and says, "Where are the trick-or-treaters?" Do people not trick-or-treat anymore?
We had, and Brian, I need to return items. We had one.
One trick-or-treater.
What? One.
Rob?
Our bowl was empty when we came home.
There you go.
So,
all right.
Depends on where you live.
Yeah,
I
guess so.
I think if you're in a community, of course, this is Captain Obvious talking here, but if you're one of those neighborhoods where you have young families, I used to be in Plano, was in a young family area, and we ran out of candy, and I think the last 5 years we haven't given out one piece.
Yep, and
so that's
our neighborhood used to be full of kids. Now it isn't.
Yeah.
Our neighborhood used to be the neighborhood where people drove to the neighborhood to go trick or treat.
Yeah, that's what we had.
Now they go to the rich neighborhoods, I guess.
The only ones they had were the two kids across the street. That was it.
All right, now enough trick or treating.
Yes.
Jason Garrett. Anything out of Jason Garrett today? Rob Phillips.
Health-wise, this team looks to be in much better shape than they were 2 weeks ago getting ready for Philly. Sounds like Cam Fleming might be the only guy, again, that is not able to practice. That was the case on Thursday, and they had a few guys limited on Thursday, but Amari Cooper was a full participant. So I think he's a good example of the bye week helping out some of these key players, and I think health-wise they're in really good shape for the Giants.
I think the only guys other than Fleming, I don't know about Anthony Brown. I don't know how much he's doing.
Yeah, Anthony Brown is kind of they're using Jordan Lewis. Talking to somebody about this, using Jordan Lewis as the starter. Anthony Brown was getting some. If they were playing like nickel and dime, then he was kind of getting the dime looks where he's the extra defensive back in there as the sixth one. So they're going with Lewis, but Brown is working like he's going to try and get ready to play this game if he can.
And then Van Der Esch is still somewhat limited.
That's a Joe.
I should say very limited.
Yeah. That's a Joe Thomas, Sean Lee rotation going on there right now with that spot.
But he's got, 3 more days?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, the Giants happen to be probably as healthy as they have been all season, considering the fact that
Every one of
Sterling
their guys-
Shepard was full. He's missed the last 3 games with a concussion.
They got 3 guys on
They're all
there, and
full.
all
It's as
full.
clean for the midseason.
Yeah.
That's as clean an injury report, I think, as I've ever seen. They've got 3 guys on the injury report, 2 coming off concussions, 1 a knee, and they all were full participants yesterday.
And the other 2, other than Shepard, are backups.
Right.
Yeah.
Valentine and Haley.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. As a matter of fact, I read today that this will be the first time all season they've had Barkley, Ingram, Tate, and Shepard all on the field at the same time.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And Daniel Jones.
And Daniel Jones. That's right.
Yeah, he wasn't hurt.
I know.
I
But
got you.
But still,
So
I
I
mean,
put a 5th in there.
There you go.
And that's what I was getting at. They're at basically at full strength with all of their guys, including their decision guys, like the quarterback
Yeah.
who they decided to go with.
Right.
Who the Cowboys, of course, the Cowboys didn't face Daniel Jones or Golden Tate. Darius Slayton is a guy. Yeah, he didn't play against the Cowboys either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the improvement I think that they've made offensively. The fact that they've got Tate back, Slayton, and then Ingram. They have one of the best running backs in the league. Toting the mail for him there. This is going to be one of those difficult games because I'll say it's difficult. The Cowboys if the Cowboys come out and attack the Giants defensively like they did in Week 1, the Giants will have problems. The Giants don't have a pass rush. They don't cover well on the back end, and they're susceptible to giving up big plays. That has not changed. The reason why the Giants are not winning games, and they're 2-5 right now, is because their defense has let them down. And so with that being said, though, you think about the situation last time this team went to the Meadowlands, played a team that had young quarterbacks, had capable receivers, had a player that could run the ball. You just didn't take advantage of the situation defensively against the Jets. And so, this could very well be another one of those. But the Giants have a lot of problems on defense. They really, really do. They just don't stop anybody. And that's if the Cowboys could take advantage of that, then they should win this football game. But if they play like they did against the Jets, then there's problems there.
Here's your magic number.
What's that?
The Giants give up 27 points a game.
There it is.
The Cowboys average 27 points a game.
Yeah.
So just write that down before you make your prediction.
And which team, to Brian's point, gives up fewer big plays in the passing game? Because the Cowboys had a bunch in Week 1. And the Giants, I believe, have given up – they have 6 opposing receivers that have logged 100 yards against them. And they give up a lot of big chunk plays. And that's what this offense, here in Dallas, when they're rolling, they feast off of that. And then they get to tie in Zeke and get the balance going, and that's what they're going to shoot for on Monday night.
But they have Leonard Williams now.
That's right. They've got the new player, Leonard Williams, who registered how much in the way of stats with the Jets the first 6 games of the year?
I think zeroed out.
Yeah, he's they're looking for help. They're looking for help on their defensive line. They just do not generate any pass rush, and it's exposed what their secondary has had to endure. Baker, their corner, is a good player. But other than that, they struggle at safety. They struggle at the opposite corner. So yeah, it's not James Betcher, their defensive coordinator, has got to make a decision in this game because last time he gave the Cowboys free access and routes. When you playing off, you're scared 8-10 yards. How many times did the Cowboys complete in-breaking routes, slants, digs, things like that? He has got to make a determination that, okay, do I want to give these guys free access and routes, or am I going to back off or play up and try and hope that I can disrupt and get some type of pressure home? Because he just hasn't. Even when they were blitzing and twisting and bringing backers and stuff, the Cowboys did a nice job of picking all that stuff up. So he is in a little bit of a bind right now, and if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to win it with their offense, I think. That's where like I say, the Giants have been in the majority of their games. Their defense just has not been able to finish for them well enough.
And Daniel Jones does give them more of a down the field element. I mean, you mentioned Slayton, you mentioned Tate, obviously Shepard and Ingram when they're healthy. he is not afraid to go down the field and try to make something happen. And it has resulted in turnovers for them, but it's also given them a little bit of a spark in the passing game.
But he'll also do exactly what Eli Manning will do, and that's turn over the football.
Yeah.
You hit him in the pocket. You affect him in the pocket because he'll hold. If you cover well enough on the back end, he'll make some throws like Rob was saying. Yeah, it's some tight window throws. But you can fool him, and you can make him hold the ball. And when teams have made him hold the ball, he's dropped the ball in the pocket. Pocket awareness has been bad. Lack of mobility at times has been bad. So, if we saw what we saw in the Eagles game, Lawrence, Quinn, those guys attacking the pocket and hammering at that football, that maybe you can get a couple of those short field turnovers that you need.
I believe it's 13 turnovers by him in 7 games, and 1 fumbles and interceptions, and 1 returned by Detroit for a touchdown last game.
7 interceptions. He has fumbled 8 times, and whatever the loss that gets to your number there. Yeah. Okay, we guess getting started here on this edition of Talking Cowboys. We're on Texas 21 as well. You can watch us on Texas 21 every Friday night from 8 to 9 o'clock in Dallas-Fort Worth, and more Talking Cowboys in just a moment.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Inside the SWBC Mortgage Studios here at the Star in Frisco, this is Talking Cowboys. Bill Jones, Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, and Rob Phillips as we get you ready for your football weekend and a Monday night matchup against the New York Giants as the Cowboys coming off the bye week with a 4-3 record. As mandated by the collective bargaining agreement, they got a 4-day weekend last weekend, and they wind up getting 5 out of 6 days off. Finally returning to practice after practicing on Tuesday, getting another day off on Wednesday. Then they hit it hard in preparations for the Giants starting on Thursday. Is there any concern at all coming off the bye week, coming off a big win against the Philadelphia Eagles, going into a matchup against a team that you handled easily in the season opener 35-17, that this team won't be ready to play on Monday night?
I don't worry about that because I think, number one, the bye week came at a perfect time. I mean, they had to get some time off for these guys to heal up a little bit. So I don't think it was. Now, they had some momentum coming out of the Philly game, and maybe you want to play the following week, but they needed to rest some guys up. Number two, I mean, this team was 3-0. They were 3-0, and all of a sudden they found themselves 3-3. I think that's a lesson to be learned, if nothing else, that Jets game, where you think you go in there and everybody's probably telling you got this, and you don't.
And where was that played?
Same exact structure, right? Up in the Meadowlands. No, I don't.
It was just green.
Yeah, I don't worry about that. But yeah. I do. What we talked about last segment, though, this is a Giants team with some talent, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Giants have found themselves in some holes, though, and then they've had to kind of try and claw their way out of it, though. I think if you're the Cowboys offensively, you have to look at them and say, okay, that's the same guy that was across from me in week 1. I know I can handle him, I think offensively what we saw in the Philadelphia game, I believe is what you'll see going forward from now on. They're going to try and have the balance, but they're going to have to try and get the ball spread around too. They've got the weapons to do that. They've got a quarterback that's playing pretty well. I don't think you can pin a lot of any problems offensively that the Cowboys have had. He's had some turnovers, but I mean, that's probably the only thing you could say. But he against these division opponents, he usually lines up and plays really, really well. And they're going to have a hard time covering Amari Cooper. They're going to have a hard time covering Michael Gallup. They're going to have a hard time covering Blake Jarwin. And if they can get the protection, they can put a lot of pressure on these Giants. Again, it's defensively, can you not give up the big plays like we saw in that Jets game that ultimately was the end of you for that one?
Mickey, do you remember what the Cowboys did coming out of the bye last year?
Yeah, they got beat by Tennessee 28-14.
28-14, and they fell to 3-5 on the season with that loss.
And that was the Amari Cooper debut?
That was,
yeah.
Yep.
But it still wasn't the Amari Cooper offense just yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what they need. They are.
And it was only. I'm sorry.
No,
there was only 1 week of Mark Colombo as the offensive line coach. Also,
yeah.
They're capable of beating any team in the National Football League. They really are. They're offensively. They can do. They present hard challenges for defensive coordinators to have to deal with it, especially with this offensive line. If it's all together with the running back, the quarterback, and all these wide receivers and the tight ends, they're capable of putting up a lot of points. They're capable of putting up a lot of yards. If they get ahead of you, they're capable of running the football on you too to keep you from getting the ball. So yeah, I mean it's really going to be about that offense coming out and playing to their capabilities, but then the defense, like Rob says, don't give up those big plays. Don't allow Daniel Jones to feel comfortable in this football game.
And don't give him and the rest of the team the feeling that they can beat you, like what happened against the Jets the last time they went up there.
Yep, absolutely.
That Jets game at the Meadowlands, there was no energy in that building until they got up by a couple scores. And all of a sudden now we got something to cheer about.
Well, the people were expecting to get beat.
Yeah.
They're expecting to get beat. And if you're a Giants fan, you're probably sitting there going, wait a minute, the Jets beat these guys? Okay. Yeah, well, let's but again, go back and watch the first game. They have done nothing defensively to help themselves other than add Leonard Williams. And can Leonard Williams be enough? He wasn't enough when the Jets played. He's a good player, but they still lack pass rush. They really, really do.
Don't give up a 70-yard run.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning of the game. And by the way, I'm going to amend my 27.
Yep.
Because they held Washington to 3.
That's right.
So in the other 7 games, they've given up 30 points a game.
Yeah, and in this 4-game losing streak for them, against Minnesota, they gave up 28. At New England, they gave up 35. Arizona, 27. And then at Detroit, 31.
See, and this offense is capable of doing that if they don't turn the ball over.
They are their own worst enemy in these games.
I mean, think about it.
Yep. But to me, the Giants have no answers for them. Now, offensively, yes, the Giants have answers. Because I think the quarterback is very capable of moving the ball, like I said. This tight end receiver, and Mickey just said it. You can't allow that guy to have a 70-yard run because he very well. It's going to be -1, -2, gain of 5, gain of 4, 75 yards.
You've made this comparison, and Rod Marinelli's made this comparison.
It's Barry Sanders. It's exactly what it's like. It's like playing Barry Sanders. The balance, the mobility, the agility, the just hold your breath every time they hand him the ball. He's the closest thing to Barry Sanders I've ever seen.
A much larger Barry Sanders.
He's a much larger, stronger Barry Sanders, but he's got the same type of ability as Barry Sanders.
How much did Barry Sanders catch the ball out of the backfield?
Very little.
I don't really
remember that either. And that's the other thing that Barkley brings that Sanders did not. Although Sanders could have. I mean, they just didn't use him that way.
Yeah, they had guys
then.
like Herman Moore and Perryman and people like that. You know, they had receivers that.
But
were
that's
pretty
a big
good
concern is with Barkley.
The screens.
Yeah, and even downfield. Will McClay breaks it down on the Jason Garrett show this week, where Daniel Jones was able to buy some time, extend the play. And then Barkley came open underneath on a route about 20 yards downfield. And so he's dangerous all over the field, really.
You have to be worried about when they get in a bunch formation or a trips formation and then throw the screen the opposite way. Like you've declared strength to one way and you play it and you overplay that side, and then all of a sudden it's Ingram on a tight end screen, it's Barkley on a screen coming out the back door the other way, and you've got not enough bodies over there to defend it. That's a problem. And having to deal with him in the open field is tough because when you commit to tackling him, you know, if you're not spot on, he just discards you and then goes up the field.
Yeah, you better have a couple there.
Yeah.
You know, and if you think about it, you know, he rushed for 120 yards against the Cowboys, and I exaggerated 70. It was a 59-yard run. So take that 59-yard run out of there, and they did a decent job against him. But you can't make that exception. Oh, all but one play.
Well, you have to take him out of the game, and that means scoring points. that the Giants got in a hole, and now they had to start throwing the football to get back in the game. And maybe that's the best way to play against this guy is, yeah, you got to tackle him, but maybe if you get the score out of whack and then you make Daniel Jones.
Then you take him out.
Then Daniel Jones has two fumbles in the pocket. He throws you an interception. Now you walk out of there with a 35-14 win.
It's what's happened to Zeke for a few games. Those 3 games they lost. I mean, people asking about Zeke's workload and production. Well, they haven't been able to get him probably as involved as they wanted to. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, he's got 111 rushing yards against Philly because they got that balance back that Brian's talking about.
Give us a call. You can join the show on this Friday, 888-855-2297. How big a game do the Cowboys need out of their linebackers against Barkley and the Giants when we come back here on Talkin' Cowboys?
Apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not too...
Right above the subway!
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus.
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store and learn how to buy one smartphone and get a second one on us. Based on GWS 1 score, September 2018.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Work the Cowboys way and channel the winning business tradition of the Dallas Cowboys and the Jones family at Formation. This dynamic workspace provides an elevated work experience on the Star's aspirational campus with exclusive membership options available to meet varying needs. Choose from open workspaces, dedicated desks, and private offices to leverage our home field advantage for your individual business success. Limited memberships are available now, so apply today at formationatthestar.com.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Join us on November 9th on Tostitos Championship Plaza for the Salute to Service Plaza Party. Enjoy live entertainment, military ceremonies, Dallas Cowboys alumni autographs, and more. After the event festivities, the Star will be hosting the top 2 Madden players as they face off in the EA Sports Madden NFL 20 Club Championship presented by Spire. That is November 9th, which is a week from tomorrow, Saturday, November 9th. Cowboys will be back home last week. They've got a Sunday night game next week against the Minnesota Vikings after this Monday night game against the New York Giants.
How many more night games?
I haven't looked, but there's 2 in the next 2 games.
Bet you that Philadelphia game gets moved tonight.
And there's one in Chicago on Thursday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. At least that's only
3
a
there.
2-hour ride back.
Yeah.
Remember the last time you went to Chicago on a Thursday night?
It was kind of cold, wasn't it?
It was like
coldest I've ever been at a game.
Sub-zero, basically.
All those years in Green Bay?
That was the coldest I've ever been in a football game.
Wow. I was so happy I was not there. Yeah.
It's tough.
There was a playoff game. San Francisco went into Chicago and beat them, and everybody was talking about how, Chicago's used to the cold. No way San Francisco's going to be able to do this or that. And then they went in there and whipped their butts. Yeah. We were walking to the car afterwards when we got done writing, and I was going, this is as cold as I've ever been. And somebody reminded me, you grew up here. I said, yeah, but I don't remember this.
Yeah. It's tough.
It can get bitter on the lake.
How much do you think the Cowboys tight end is enjoying the fact that he's going to be on the football field and not in the Monday Night Football broadcast booth on Monday night?
Might be the most ecstatic guy in the stadium.
Has he talked yet this week?
He should today.
Okay.
Yeah. He usually talks on what is a normal Thursday work week. So, yeah, we'll get his thoughts on being out of the booth.
That's right.
You know?
Or maybe if it's too cold, he'll run up there.
It's almost like those 10 months he was gone is surreal. You know, it's like, I mean, because it wasn't even a full year. You know, I think Zach Martin talked about that yesterday. It was like he was gone, and then all of a sudden he's back, and he's still, you know, he's still being vocal. He's still being the same old wit, you know.
Loves playing against these guys, too.
Yeah.
Look at his career. His career playing against the Giants has been unbelievable.
What was that? What's his record? It was against the Giants, wasn't it? Is it like 21 catches? 19, 21?
Oh, he had 18.
18
in one game.
18 catches in one game.
Yeah.
Against the Giants.
And some big ones, right?
Yeah. He's had some really big ones. And he played well on the opening day, too. We kind of like, whoa, maybe Witt needs to play a little bit more. But, yeah, every time he's seen that NY on that helmet, he's lined up and played very, very well.
Okay, when you watch him this year, what do you notice about him compared to what he was playing like 2 years ago?
Oh, well, he's not as fast as he was, and he's not as quick as he once was. But the thing that has never escaped him is his ability to catch the football. You know, I mean, the mobility and stuff might not be great, but the fact that he makes up for it by the way he can make contested plays. Now, we saw like on the 2-point play that was, you know, that really the ball didn't get to him where like it needed to get to him, but still, when you watch him run routes, I mean, he still can make those subtle little moves, get himself a little separation, and if you get it into his area of where he could catch his reach and stuff, he could come down with the ball. He's always been able to do that. I still think he's a great red zone player.
Finding spots.
Yeah. You know, he's a big body. He knows how to push, and he knows how to get away with it so the officials won't call it, you know?
You asked difference between now and 2 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
I think he's running better than he was in 2017.
He's definitely not running creaky.
Not running like he was in 2013.
Yeah.
But, you know, he just seems a little bit more fluid. I don't know. Maybe it's fresh legs, better condition, lost weight. I don't know. But, yeah.
There's a couple of these guys you need to keep an eye on in the second half of the year. You know, because when you talk about veteran guys, you know, we've seen guys have really good first halves, and then the second half, where do they go kind of guy. And, you know, Witten could be that guy, but Robert Quinn could be another one. Robert Quinn had a lot of production in the first half of the season. So sometimes a little bit of veteran guy, you think, okay, the break had to help him, but can he match what he was able to do in the first half of the season? Sometimes we see those guys kind of fall off. You know, the father time thing kind of gets to him a little bit, and they don't play at a high level. I think Quinn will play at a high level, but I always keep an eye on those veteran guys on the second half of the season and see if the wear and tear starts to get on him a little bit.
I'll throw out another one, and it's not because he's that much of a veteran guy, although he is a veteran guy, but coming off the Guillain-Barré syndrome is Travis Frederick in the second half of the year.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you can't monitor his snaps, but you can monitor Quinn's.
You could surely do Quinn's.
And keep the rotation
and just
going.
like with Sean Lee too.
Sean Lee's another example too. A guy that I kind of feel like, and I'm going to write this in my notes today, my final thoughts. Sean Lee played so well against the Eagles, and you think, why does Sean Lee play so well in this game? Well, it's because Sean Lee played. I don't think Sean Lee. I think where I maybe misevaluated Sean Lee was, he could come off the bench and he could do this and he could do this and he could do this. I think Sean Lee needs to get in a flow of a game. I think he needs to see how they're blocking him. I think he needs to see how they're running the football. I think he needs to see how the routes are developing.
And as a Sam, you can't get into the flow.
You can't get into a flow of a game. And I think not playing 60 snaps has affected Sean Lee. And what happened? He got a lot of snaps in that Eagles game, gets in the flow of the game, and now we see those Sean Lee traits that we've kind of grown and known and loved. Now he's healthy as he's ever been. You know, I'm knocking on wood as I say that, but to me, he's one of those guys, as he gets in the flow of the game, the better he plays.
And he had the most snaps he's had this season, 45 or so against the Eagles in the last game. As Mickey said off the top, there is still concern on Leighton Vander Esch, who didn't do anything yesterday in the first practice of this week. We'll see how he goes through the weekend and how ready he is if he's able to play on Monday night. But how about even going forward with everybody healthy? How can they make it a rotation, or should they make it a rotation in there, even at the will, where Sean can be involved in that,
I would love
and
to
also
see,
it would benefit Van Der Esch as well.
I'd love to see Sean Lee get more snaps. I'd like to see Joe Thomas actually get some more snaps too. I think Joe Thomas is one of those guys that, if you talk about a guy who's a guy that's kind of, if you want to say, under the radar right now, that could maybe in the second half. I know we had that as a mailbag question today, and I wrote Joe Thomas. I think Joe Thomas has got that kind of ability. Sean Lee, Joe Thomas. These linebackers, as you mentioned, before we went to break, they've got to play well these last 9 games.
How'd they play in the first game against the Giants?
Oh, I thought
they played awfully well.
Gave up that big run.
Just a big run, but other than
the big run.
Yeah, but other than that, I think that. But this is going to be a different. I think this is going to be a different game for them, because you're going to see so many crossing routes and stuff underneath. Can they get at the proper depth? Can they affect the way the routes? Can they get through picks and things like that we're going to see? Can they hustle to not let the screen get out the back door? Those are all those things as linebackers. We started to see a little bit of tackles for loss. And Mickey went through it the other day on our show where he said, hey, 1 and 2 tackles for loss, not 5 and 7 and 8 tackles for loss. So this linebacking core, to me, it's one of the most important parts of this defense, because their ability to keep runs from being big and also tackle in place, so those passes that only 3-4 yards are not 26 and 27 yards.
Leighton Van Der Esch go ahead.
I'm sorry. Jalen Smith had 11 tackles. Van Der Esch had 9 in that first game. And the other thing to remember about Quinn, he's only played.
He didn't play against the Giants. Yeah, he didn't play against the Giants.
He only played 5 games. So
he missed 2.5 games.
And for some reason, I'm looking for the snap count in here, and it got eliminated from the extended stats package here.
Van Der Esch was so excited to play week 1 against the Giants because it was going to test their tackling right off the bat. Right. Saquon Barkley can't ask for a better test. And I think overall they tackled him pretty well. They haven't always tackled as well as they would like this season. That's one thing Sean Lee did really well against the Eagles, was just open field making tackles.
Yeah.
And we'll see if he has more snaps. I mean, there's been times this year where they have taken Jalen Smith, Van Der Esch off the field and mixed in Sean Lee and Joe Thomas. I don't know if that'll become a pure rotation if everybody's healthy, but maybe you can get him on the field a little more.
I was just wondering, because they've done a pretty good job of regulating Quinn's snaps, I think. Like, he hasn't had to overly use him. And now with the addition of Bennett, you can use Armstrong a little bit more to help out in a rotation package there, so not to use him up. And I think that was the idea with Lawrence, too, to try to keep him fresh.
And so you were wondering about Quinn's snap counts. Quinn, first game against Miami, 44, which was 63% of the snaps. He had 70% of the snaps against New Orleans, 49, 75% against Green Bay, 54, 75% against the Jets, 45. Just played a half against the Eagles and had 23 snaps.
Hurt.
So,
so he's been playing about half the games, almost.
All right, when we come back here on Talkin Cowboys, let's talk about Michael Bennett's possible impact and Tristan Hill.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
So this is Jack Black made Santa approved. The big guy knows a lot about keeping his beard groomed and looking season ready, but Jack Black knows even more. You get free Supreme Cream 2.6 ounces with your $60 purchase. If you go to Jack Black and use the code BEARD, you'll get that free.
We're in the month of November now, so can we anticipate on these Jack Black reads that we'll have even more of a holiday spirit about these reads
We've
now?
been having holiday spirit.
Yeah,
we had Halloween, and now we're moving on to Christmas. Don't worry about Thanksgiving.
You've already got your Christmas tree out, ready for Jack Black.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Look, it's a pretty picture here, too, by the way, if you can see that.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
All right.
All right. We welcome you on Texas 21 each and every Friday night, 8 to 9 o'clock, to check out Talkin Cowboys. And for those of you who are just watching us for the first time on Texas 21, we are on DallasCowboys.com. You can find us elsewhere. Also, just search around on your iPhone. You can probably find us on a podcast on your iPhone. We do this show every day during the football season from 11 a.m. to 11:45, one of a number of shows here produced by the Dallas Cowboys, and it's your place to find out all you need to know about the Dallas Cowboys.
Very good, Bill.
I thought that was probably a good public service announcement to
excellent.
make.
Helping people out.
That's right. That's right. Okay, Michael Bennett. You expect an impact right off the bat Monday night against the Giants. What do you think?
Got any thought on that there, Mick?
I think he'll help out the pass rush. I think he'll help it out inside more than anything else, kind of rotating in there, and he gives them some backup to Malik Collins. And, you know, if they want to go nickel and put them both in there at the same time, then I'm good with that. And he can help out at defensive end. So I don't know that he's a starter or anything, but you rotate that guy in there.
Yeah, I think Mickey nailed it perfectly there. You know, to me, it's about, can you get him involved in some nickel stuff? Can he be a better rusher than what they've gotten from, you know, they can move Collins over, put him in. They haven't got a whole lot out of Covington. Covington's played at times. I think he's played well, but they don't get enough from him. So here it is. You could put Collins in there at Covington's spot. You could put Bennett at the under tackle or the 3, and now you put him to the same side as, say, Lawrence or then Quinn, and now you're putting a lot of stress on the offensive, the center, the guard, and the tackle to account for 2 guys that are premier pass rushers. And you know, do I see them throwing him in the deep end of the pool? We got a couple more days of practice, and I kind of get the feeling that they're working him in slowly, like Mickey said, at defensive tackle for a couple of reps, maybe getting him a little work at defensive end for a couple of reps. But it's not like, okay, 8 plays in a series, let's put him out there 6 of those plays.
Yeah, you know, the other thing I think you have to take into consideration, in 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks, he turns 34.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you got to be careful. You don't want to wear him out.
Yeah, although he hadn't played a lot of snaps for the Patriots.
No, he's fresh.
Yeah, and he is familiar with a lot of some of the terminology of this system because he played for Chris Richard in Seattle, and he's been making money. He was undrafted. People may forget that in 2009. He's been the guy that can line up in those nickel situations and rush even at 275 pounds, and then or kick outside and rush as well. Zach Martin was talking about him yesterday. He's like, I'm glad we don't see him anymore on the opposite side. He's faced him a lot of times. He says he's really good at kind of reading your set and working off of it, and he's just a veteran guy that knows how to play. And for what they traded, you know, to get him, it seems like a good move. You know, it can only help this team from a sheer talent perspective.
Okay, Mr. Texas Aggie.
Yeah.
Martellus Bennett, his younger brother, was actually a second-round draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys. Michael Bennett, undrafted. From your memory of him at Texas A&M, why was Michael Bennett undrafted? Did he not make much of an impact at A&M?
I don't know if he wasn't.
I can't remember.
I don't recall that much, but I don't know if he was a featured guy in their defense all the time. But I went back and I was reading stuff about when he went to Seattle, and they tried him. It's one of those things where if you're a rookie trying to make the team, let's try it a couple different spots. And he really impressed them as an inside rusher, undersized, quick, up the field. And that's what he's been able to do throughout his career.
And he was with Seattle, and then he was waived or practiced. Well, I can't remember exactly. And then Tampa Bay picked him up, and then he comes back to Seattle. So, I mean, it took some time for him to get his legs in the league, too.
Yeah, he did. And Rob's right, though. When you watched him play in college, he developed developed as an inside rusher, and that's always been his calling card. And I was surprised just watching him play in the games this year how strong he really is. I remember him in the Philadelphia and stuff, playing in that wide 9, rushing and attacking. But when you see him play inside, you see him use his hands more. You see him use his strength and power more. And that's something that for an older guy that you kind of feel like that goes away. But with him, it seems like it's improved as he's gone along in his career.
Yeah, and you don't want to overuse him inside because he's only 274. So he's kind of like Crawford.
Yeah.
And you don't kind of use him the same way. Get him out there and let's go.
Okay, so what do we make of Tristan Hill's bye week?
Rough one.
Probably had better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people don't want me to say this, and I tried to answer this question on Twitter last night, and that's probably my first mistake. But the kid is 21 years old, right? And so you start to think, here's a guy that when the inactive list came out in week 1, he wasn't sure. He thought, he's like, well, everybody dresses. He didn't know the situation. There's a lot of things that Tristan Hill does not know. Rod Marinelli is, I think, a difficult guy to play for if you don't do the right things. Because Rod can be very blunt and very honest. And Rod has a timetable for guys. And Rod really was the one that was championing going. I mean, he made the trips to Orlando. He was the guy that was really involved with this recruitment and then ultimately the drafting of the player. So Rod thought enough of him to put his neck on the line for to do this. Now, but it's up to the kid. It's up to the kid to come in to try and learn. Mickey, I heard Mickey on the radio this morning, and he was absolutely right. The kid gives you effort when he practices. It's not a lack of wanting to play well or try to play well or play hard. He just doesn't know yet. And he's 21 years old, and he doesn't know. He's the total opposite of what you would say Amari Cooper is. Where Amari Cooper is a pro, he works. He does what he's supposed to do. He's on time. All these things you talk about what a pro should do. Tristan Hill hasn't learned that yet. And is that his fault? Yeah. Is it the organization's fault for not teaching him? Yeah, it is.
Well, he got taught this.
He got taught, and that Mickey's absolutely right. Sleeping, being late. Those things are inexcusable. That's your job. That is your job. And so hopefully this is one of those things. Now, if it's something that happens again, or if it's something we hear about happens, 4 weeks from now, then now be alarmed. But right now, you need to help him all you can to learn how to be a pro.
It's a little surprising because what you heard about him throughout the first part of the season when he was inactive was it's not for lack of effort, like Brian said. It's
not strong. Mickey said that too. He's right about that.
That's another thing from a physical standpoint, like a Connor Williams last year. Maybe he does need a full offseason to get stronger, reshape his body, and come back at it next year. With Michael Bennett here, though, you got to wonder what his snaps are going to look like the rest of the way.
He's probably inactive.
Yeah.
And
get on the weight room right now. Just go ahead and if you're going to be inactive,
stronger and mature.
Yeah,
got to mature. Some guys come in a little naive, I think.
Yeah.
All right, when we come back here on Talkin Cowboys, our picks to click and who wins on Monday night against the Giants.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not to...
It's right above the subway!
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus.
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store and learn how to buy one smartphone and get a second one on us. Based on GWS 1 score, September 2018.
It's time for Tailgate with the OtterBox boys.
OtterBox, the makers of those crazy protective phone cases?
The one and only. They're also wild about protecting parking lot parties from sad drinks. It's why they made elevation tumblers.
Rumor around the crockpot is they're made from stainless steel with a copper lining to keep temps hot or cold.
True, they even come in 7 different sizes, up to 64 ounce, the growler.
I like how OtterBox drinks. Thinks.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Check out all the colors and sizes of their elevation tumblers at OtterBox.com.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
And Talkin' Cowboys continues from the Star in Frisco. Final 4 minutes of the show here as we approach the Monday night game. Get you set for a big football weekend. Hey, we got basketball tonight at the AAC. You got the Lakers in town, LeBron and the Lakers. How about this matchup? You got Luka and the Unicorn against LeBron and the Unibrow tonight at the AAC. You like that, Mickey?
Did you think about that for a while?
Did one of them get suspended for a fight? Who got suspended? Two guys get two games.
That was Philly and Minnesota.
Okay.
Towns.
Yeah, that's right. My NBA knowledge right there.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Gotcha.
And on Saturday, Stars and the Canadians.
Oh, Stars and the Canadians on Saturday. Sounds
Regional
like
6.
Mickey is making plans to head to the AAC
Canada.
for that.
Yes, absolutely.
I got a
Singing the
glimpse.
national anthem.
I got a glimpse at Mickey's season tickets, man.
You have season tickets?
Those are nice.
10 games.
Oh, really? 10-game package. Okay.
I was treated.
All right, and off Twitter, let's hear from the Carroll Dragon, Jake Benoit. Will we see Ola Wally down the field on routes again like he was week 1 against the Giants?
Yeah, they ran that wheel route on him.
Have they done it since?
They have not done it since. Maybe, with the way the safety play is for the Giants, or the lack of it, if they can't get a guy over the top to defend that, it might not be a bad call. But I think that was a one-shot deal with Kellen Moore.
Okay, maybe use it against a different team because they've seen it before.
Maybe a different team. Yeah,
okay.
Maybe a different team.
All right, our picks to click. Who wants to go first on the picks to click this week? All right, Mickey's got his clicker out.
I will take.
I'm glad he's just got a name ready.
I will take.
This is
Well, he
unusual.
gave me some time to think
well, you
about
had a bye week. We gave him some time. We gave
That's
him a bye
right.
week to think about it.
I'll take Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, and why is that?
Because he's Amari Cooper, and they
he's
can't
going up
cover.
against the Giants
That's
secondary.
right.
That's
Yes.
great.
Okay, very good.
I'll go with Michael Gallup because he's Michael Gallup.
Everybody's picking these wide receivers.
And he led the team in receiving. First game of the season against the Giants, 7 catches, 158 yards. He had a 62-yard catch. He's had opportunities recently, some balls he has gone through his fingers, and he had a big second half of the season last year. I think he'll get it rolling.
I'm going to go with DeMarcus Lawrence here. I think what we saw in Philadelphia is the start of him coming around technique-wise, playing with his hands, the balance. We're starting to see maybe the fact that he was really off all of training camp affected him more than we wanted to believe. And so I'm going to see him. He's going against Mike Reimers. The tackle, and I feel like that with watching Reimers play a little bit, he's been struggling, and so this is a good opportunity for Lawrence to get off, have one of those games, couple of sacks, maybe create a fumble like we did against Philadelphia.
How did the Cowboys tight end do the last time the Cowboys went to play the Giants at the Meadowlands?
So I need to look that up, or are you going to tell me?
He did okay.
Yes, he did. How many touchdowns did he score?
3, right?
In the first half.
Yeah.
Right?
That's Blake Jarwin. He was the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, I do believe.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Billy Joe Dupree.
Yeah.
First time
Wow.
since, 71 maybe?
He's had 4 touchdowns, and it all against the Giants, right?
Okay, so my pick to click is?
I would guess Blake Jarwin.
Nope.
Jason Witten.
Jason Witten on Monday Night Football, baby. On Monday Night Football.
I should have known.
What's Booger going to say about Jason Witten's 3 touchdown catches against the New York Giants?
There you go.
I'll make sure
What do you
I'm
think of that?
listening.
You like that one?
Yes, absolutely.
Always got something up my sleeve.
Yeah.
You do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, okay, so who wins?
I got the Cowboys 24-16 in this one.
34-16.
24.
Oh, 24-16.
24-16.
24-16.
Yeah.
I'll go 34-24 Cowboys.
I'll go 30-17.
Cowboys.
Yeah, the Giants are going to score. 30-17.
30-17. What was the score the last time they played? 35-17.
35-17.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm going 30-20. Cowboys with a victory over the New York Football Giants.
So far, all right. If not, it's going to be trouble.
Oh, yeah. It's a huge game. I mean,
Gotham,
you look, we're starting
Part
November.
2, yeah.
This is Friday, November 1st.
Gotham.
And they got 5 games in a span of 25 days starting Monday night.
Got to get this.
And when you look at that schedule, everyone got a W right there on this first one.
Had one with the Jets, too.
Last time they went to MetLife Stadium. That's right. They had a W penciled in on that one.
Yep.
So you better win this one. Brian, you're going to be doing what on Monday?
I got the pregame show an hour before, so check us out on all the Cowboy platforms, please.
And I'll be on CBS 11, Cowboys Game Day 10:30 on Sunday morning. Check out Mickey and Rob on the pregame show on 105.3 The Fan. We appreciate you joining us here on Talking Cowboys. Have a great football weekend, and we'll see you again next week.